You already know the drill is week 5 is done. I can't believe we're here. It's Sunday. It is 4:30. I'm waiting for it to cool down a little bit because I want to go on a nice little walk. That's going to be my artist date for this week, just because I've been so busy. But you already know the drill. I know why I'm here. You know why I'm here, Fatu. Let's get into week 5. Okay. So week 5 was about recovering a sense of possibility. This week, you are being asked to examine your payoffs in remaining stuck. You will explore how you curtail your own possibilities by placing limits on the good you can receive. You will examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. You may find yourself thinking about radical changes, no longer ruling out your growth by making others the cause of your constriction. Let's discuss this week. This week was really good. I'm gonna start off with that. This week was really good. As we know, last week I got a job. Round of applause. I did some training this week. It went really well. I officially started my shift Saturday. Made some moolah, made some cha-ching. Round of applause, because that was, one of our main issues. Synchronicity. So this week we discussed a lot of things. We discussed limiting beliefs, things like not believing that there is an abundance, like the universe is filled with everything I could possibly desire. I just have to open myself up to the idea that it's not impossible for me to get those things. I need to let go of my self-limiting beliefs, and I will have access to all of the abundance in the world. And that really stood out to me because I didn't realize. I feel like every week I'm realizing something new, but a lot of limiting beliefs that I have come from how I was raised. Now, while I was raised middle class for majority of my life, there was a point where we were homeless and things like that. And I remember this happened when I was in grade 8. And I remember just thinking to myself, I never want to see myself in this position again, ever. And I think that also really affects how I think about things like money, housing, and with everything going on in the world, it's very scary sometimes thinking about things like I want to own a home one day. I want to be a homeowner. That's one of my biggest goals. And then hearing things like, oh, the stock market, owning a home is very expensive. But while that can be true, while that is true, it is also still true that I will one day be a homeowner. Trust and believe. I'm going to own a home, and I'm also going to build a home for my mother. You know what I mean? I need to let go of these limiting beliefs. Obviously, people are gonna be like, oh, think about, but the more that I stop grounding myself in the logic of everything, the more that I start seeing how things are aligning for me. I don't want to get too much into it. Actually, fuck it. I can't get too much into it. We all know why I'm doing this process. I'm a musician. I'm a creative. I want to sing on stage. I want to write music. I want to connect with people through music. That is my goal. That is my dream. That is my passion. That is what drives me and makes me wake up every single day, right? So as I'm currently recording this, Hybe is having auditions for a co-ed global group. And when I was deciding on my journey and how I want my career to look, I initially wanted to be in a girl group. That was it. I love the idea of the girl group. It's one of the reasons why I fully became obsessed with K-pop, because the idea of having a group of close-knit friends that you do music with, that you enjoy working with, and then just going out and doing what you love is something that has always warmed my heart. And I did try and do an independent girl group at the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, things fell through. It didn't happen. And I said, you know what, girl, we're going to do the solo. It's okay. You've been trying to do the solo, and things started aligning. And then I saw the Hype audition, and when I saw the audition, I was like, oh, too old. They're not going to accept me. But then I saw that I am in the age range. And I truly believe I'm going to debut in that group. It sounds crazy, absolutely. But them limiting beliefs, I have to say, but like the last time I felt so much conviction, I even got a notification about something. Anyways, that's not important. But the last time that I felt so much conviction for something like this, where I was like 100%, I see this happening for me, was when I booked my Gatorade ad, which I never got paid for. But that's besides the point. You will pay for your crimes. Karma. Anyways, but I have such conviction that I will be debuting in that group, and I'm currently preparing my audition. There is something about that where I was like, this has to be a sign. And it was actually funny because in the check-ins, if I can just get to that, one of the questions was, did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? Try inaugurating a conversation on synchronicity with your friends. What was so funny, because typically I don't read like the check-ins. I feel like I always think that like they're the exact same check-ins every single week. We ask about the artist day. Did you do your morning pages? Did you experience synchronicity? Da, da, da. But this one was slightly different. It said, try bringing synchronicity up in conversation. And on Monday when I went to work, I brought it up in conversation. Again, this was completely out of the blue. One of the guys who works in my job, we were just having a conversation, chatting it up, and we got onto the topic of spirituality, and I was telling him about like how I very much am into numerology. I'm starting to delve a little bit more into astrology. I know about it, I'm pretty well versed in it, but I haven't like really honed in, because I'm more so into numerology. And I was just talking about like synchronicities and how I even got this job through synchronicity. And I think it was Wednesday or Thursday when I was reading up in the book, and I read that question. I was like, oh my goodness, do you see how that conversation, like it complete out of the blue, we were just getting to know a little bit about each other, and it just popped up. And then I saw the Hype audition thing, and I said, no, this is a sign. So I'm preparing my audition. And I know I'm going to debut in that group. Fatu, you have debuted. Okay? You have debuted. You've been wanting to debut in a group. This is it. Is it the way that you envisioned? Fuck no. But that is the beauty of just letting go and just going out and following your dreams. Like, sometimes it's not going to end up happening the way that you want it to happen. I really need to clean my car. Sorry, it's like dusty as hell here. Anyways, but it's not gonna happen the way that you envision it all the time. But that's okay. Just fall into it. And also, like, I have a morning routine now. I am obsessed with my morning routine. I love it so much. So my morning routine, I wake up, I do my morning pages, I read my affirmations, and then I do my artist prayer. And the more that I do my artist prayer, it just warms my heart so much. And I love meditating. Even now, like, I did my morning pages every single day of the week. Even today, I did my morning routine. I just feel like it starts my day off so well. And if I'm waking up with any anxiety, any nervousness, any just like, negative energy, as soon as I am done with my meditation and I open my eyes, I cannot explain that feeling at all. And I've come to realize so many things through this week, especially with, like, we discussed wish lists. A big thing was like the virtue trap, which actually so the virtue trap is like when you I'm trying to like figure out how I can explain this, but essentially it's when you go from like being so focused on your creativity and your creative process and making whatever art it is that you do, and you almost like hibernate to the point where it's like, I don't want to be bothered by anyone. And every time someone bothers you, you're just like, oh, get out of my face. You know what I mean? Be it spouse, your partner, your family, friends, whatever. You're just like, I let me, be by myself. I need to get this done. I need to focus on myself. And it goes from you lashing out to, maybe people because of lashing out to yourself, mainly because you're in such solitude with yourself that it feels like the walls are constricting. And I remember when I was reading this, it just really reminded me of the 4 years that I spent in this household in my room, where be very honest, I was suicidal. And I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety, like really bad. I should be on medication, but Black people don't believe in therapy. So anyways, so like I remember having this exact feeling, even around the same time last year. Yeah, because last year I turned 22 and we were stuck in Congo. We were stuck, even thinking about it now, like I'm getting emotional. So we were stuck in Congo, and I remember my birthday was coming up, and my birthday is next week, Monday. On my birthday, I bawled my eyes out. I was just like, I can't believe I'm here. I'm stuck again. I had so many plans. I was supposed to be going back to school that year. I was watching people I went to high school with getting married, some were getting engaged, some were getting promotions in work. I was seeing the friends that I'd started making through like modeling and stuff going out and getting all of these amazing castings and getting paid and all that stuff. And I was stuck in Congo in the boiling heat. And on my birthday, the dam just cracked. It actually, cracking. The bitch burst. It burst. And I remember I woke up on my birthday. I'm pretty sure, I think I was also on my period, or my period was coming. And it was just so much emotion. And I was trying to like explain to my mother what I was feeling. But my mother has this tendency of like, whenever she tries to give you advice, she tells you about herself. And that was not what I needed to hear. And I just had so much resentment towards her, towards my dad. Oh, my sister's back. And it was a lot. And now I'm looking at my life. Oh, okay. And then after that, we came back and it was winter time. That seasonal depression just came in and rocked my world again. It was, I hadn't felt that depressed in a long time, to the point where I was literally like, no, I want to end it. Like I wasn't showering. Actually, like, not even just showering, like, fuck hygiene. Getting out of my bed, I was barely eating. I was barely sleeping. I was so hyper focused on watching people's lives through social media and wishing that was me and wanting to live a certain life, and then looking around at my circumstances and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm supposed to be out there. I'm supposed to be making music. I'm supposed to be a star. Like, I'm not supposed to be stuck here. And because I felt like I couldn't do anything, and at that point My parents had went back to Congo for work, so I was stuck at home. It was just me and my sister. I just, I meant I was checked out. I was so mentally checked out. My room was a mess. Like, people always idealize depression and they make it seem like it's so beautiful and like, oh, it's just, well, not, I shouldn't say beautiful, but like there's almost an aesthetic to it, you know, especially when it comes to like mental health with women. Oh, they're horny and they're so sexually driven, you know, and they're freaks in the sheets, and if she's suffering from like daddy issues, just know. And it's like all of these things, and that's not what depression is. Depression is so crippling and debilitating that once you get to the point of not wanting to live anymore, you barely see the purpose in anything. Why do I need to eat? Why do I need to even wake up? Why am I awake? Those were my questions every single day for like, I want to say I was depressed for at least 4 months straight. And the thing is, the last time that happened to me, I attempted suicide at least 3 times. Ooh, is YouTube gonna kick me? Well, it's out there, but I'm being very honest. The last time that happened was when I was freshly 20 years old, and that was when I'd ran away from home. I ran away from home, I think it was like for 3 weeks. And even then, like, that was also around the time when I got diagnosed with diabetes. I was dating these okay, they weren't terrible. The one I just knew was gonna fuck me over, and the one ended up being a loser. Yeah, but like I thought after that I was healed. You know what I mean? Like after 20, I was like, okay, no, I had my depression. I had my, you know, offing myself moment. It's okay. I've got this mental illness. I've also got this chronic illness. It is what it is. I'm going to move forward with my life. I'm going to try. Things looked up in 2023 because that was 2022. In 2023, things started looking up a little bit, you know. I got signed as a model, was doing all of these things. Life started to look up. And then 2024 hit, and I was just like, oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. And it got to the point where I was just like, no, if I don't get out of this house and if I do not admit myself, Fatu is not going to exist anymore. Because I was so I hate that place, but I found so much comfort in it and in the hatred that I was harboring for myself. There was something so toxically beautiful about being that depressed and hating your life. It's like you're being pulled into this well, and even though the water is freezing cold, at least you're feeling something. And I still don't know how I pulled myself out of that. I genuinely, like, the fact that I'm here, I don't understand. I feel like I should have been dead at 19, if I'm being very honest. And the fact that a year later, almost to the date, I'm here, I'm enjoying life, like I'm happy, I'm content, is wild to me. Because the Fatu of last year and this Fatu feel like two completely different people. And I'm realizing now that one of the main reasons why I was falling into such deep depressive episodes is also because of how much I was allowing other people to dictate my life. And I would set boundaries, but I was not firm in them at all, especially with my mother. And if you are a child of an immigrant, I don't know if there are people watching, but if you are a child of an immigrant, a first daughter, you will completely understand. I feel like I bring this up every week, but you know, I didn't choose the typical career route, you know, but when I started being defiant, right? When I ran away from home, when I took money and I just jetted off. There was also the sense of freedom that I finally felt because I was away. And I felt like I was finally able to breathe. And I remember vividly this one day, I was at my friend's place and my mom called me about something. I can't remember what, but she called me. And I was speaking to her, and the phone call wasn't long. I think it was maybe 5 minutes. And when I hung up, my friend was like, "Why are you so tense? Like, who did you speak to?" And I was like, "Oh no, I was just speaking to my mother." And he looked at me and he was like, "No, because like it looked like you were on the verge of a panic attack." And I think that was, I want to say maybe 3 months before I ran away, that phone call happened. And it was just, and it was just, sorry about that. I'm trying to, but yeah. So now that I'm here, because one of the questions that we also are like, this week was really just a week where I fully came to terms with the fact that like, sometimes some of the, shit happens, essentially, right? Shit happens, life happens. But sometimes when you start living for other people and putting yourself on hold, essentially, and just molding and reshaping to fit another person's standard, you start crippling yourself. And realizing that this week was really, really a lot. And I think that's also where, I know for a fact, that's also where my hyper independence came about, because it was this weird duality of like, oh, my mother trusts me to do things like pick up my sister from school when I'm 10 years old by myself, catching a taxi from Durbanville to Belleville by myself. Like I'm old enough to cook for myself, clean for keep up after myself, all of these things, but I'm not old enough to go out and hang out with friends. I'm not old enough to have my own bank account in my own name, things like that. It was this weird thing of push and pull. It's like I have a lot of responsibility while also having zero autonomy over myself and over things that I want to do. So the moment that I started to lash out and rebel, and seeing how that was repackaged in almost like, oh, well, this isn't the daughter that I raised. This isn't the Fatu that I know. All of my hard work has been, put to shit and all of that stuff. And now at 23, basically realizing that, no, the reason why those things occurred and all of those things was happening was because I was like a mummy. I was wrapped up, but given just enough leeway to feel like an adult. And when I wanted to take my power back and take autonomy over my own life, those around me were saying no. So now I'm trying to figure out, how do I go about life as an adult while also still being able to keep up this image of the good daughter, of the eldest child, and pleasing them, but not letting go of myself, not losing who I am. And that duality, still to this, I'm working on it. But even just the fact of like how far we've come, like seasonal depression is around the corner, but I know the symptoms. Around my birthday time, I know the symptoms. I haven't been feeling those. And I am just so proud of myself. Literally in my morning pages, every single time I am done, I write, Fatu, I am proud of you. And it's also in my morning prayer. Fatu, I am proud of you. And just repeating that to myself. Also just like that, like, because it's something that I was also dealing with. I think this was either week 3 probably, was the whole like validation, seeking validation. Like I crave it. Like I'm fiending. But I didn't feel that anymore. Or at least I'm starting to feel that less. And I'm also starting to care less about outside opinions. I'm going to do me. That's why I'm saying, when I debut, because I am going to, I know exactly why it happened. And I know how much work I've put in behind the scenes. Okay? I know what I need to do. And also, I know that I cannot rely on myself anymore. It is okay for me to lean on help and to lean on other people. Do not depend and rely on other people, but be open to compromising. Be open to saying, you know what? There's a little too much on my plate right now. I just need a moment. I need to readjust. It is okay. Because when I start to suffocate under that hyper independence that I placed myself on, I also start resenting me, because it's like, Fatu, why is your life not moving as quickly as other people? Why is your life not at the point where you said it would be? You had a plan. Why are you not sticking to the plan? You're fucking things up. And then the cycle repeats, and the cycle repeats. And I want to break that cycle. I am breaking that cycle. So this week, I truly felt all of the possibilities. The world is my fucking oyster. It is my oyster. I don't care if no one likes it. If I am in love with it, and if I am able to fall in love with it every single time, then I know that I'm on it. Okay. I know that I'm on the right path. I know that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel that with so much conviction. Like, it's actually making me emotional right now, because I truly feel like I'm in a space now where things are making sense. Do I see the whole picture? No. But at least the puzzle pieces that I have within my hand are starting to fit. They're starting to make more sense. It doesn't feel like I'm wading in water in this vast ocean. I'm starting to see land. And I'm making my way there. And I'm making my way there at my own pace. Do I sometimes wish that things could rush a little bit? Absolutely. That's normal. But I also don't feel like I'm running out of time. I'm only 23. Like, I'm only 20. Well, 22 in a week. You know what I mean? Like, I have the time. And I know how talented I am. But that's not the only thing that I am. And I'm also realizing that I am not just Fatu, the musician. I am not just Fatu, the eldest daughter, the older sister. I am a multifaceted human being. I have so many interests, so many things that I want to do. Even with, like, one of the tasks was like the imaginary lives. Like, every so far I think this is like our 15th. So it was like 5 in the 1 week, 5 in the 1 week, and 5 this week. And I'm realizing just like how many things that I'm interested in, and just how multifaceted as a human being I am. Because my life had been so one note, I felt like I was not allowed to diverge, because I said I want to do music, I want to be a musician. Now if I fail and I fuck up, it's like, well, then what else? But there is so many more possibilities for me. I am such a creative at heart that I feel like I'm at a point where, you know what? Music is my first love, and it is my first choice, and I'm going to go hard at it, because I'm not going to half-ass this. I fully believe that it is within my path. But life happens sometimes, and it's okay for me to pivot. Like, I love photography. I love as I'm working, because I'm working on my EP, as you all know, as you would know. But as I'm working on my EP, I'm realizing how much I love creative directing. I love styling. Like, having to, put the story together for the music videos. Like, it's so fun and interesting for me. And I'm realizing just how much of a creative I am. And I don't have to be one note. It is okay for me to be multifaceted. And I feel like that's especially something that a lot of black girls are not told we can be. We're always told you are going to be one way, the world is going to see you also in a specific way, and you must make sure that you are the furthest thing from how they perceive you. And that means being placed in a specific type of box. And I'm saying, fuck that box. Fuck that box. I don't deserve to be in it. I do not deserve to cage myself, and I will not be caged by others. But yeah, now it is 5. I'm gonna go on my little artist date, which I'm really, really excited for. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, recovering a sense of possibility. What a week! What a week of revelations. I feel like sometimes I have so much to say, and other times these check-ins are so short. But next week, week 6, is recovering a sense of abundance. This week, you tackle a major creative block, money. You are asked to really look at your own ideas around God, money, and creative abundance. The essays will explore the ways in which your attitudes limit abundance and luxury in your current life. You will be introduced to counting, a block-busting tool for clarity and right use of funds. This week may feel volatile. Child, do not tell me that. But you know what? I'm open. My mind is open, my heart is open. It's been a great week. I feel like things just keep elevating. I don't know, maybe at some point, actually let me not put that out into the universe. Things are just gonna keep elevating. And yeah, I feel good. Next week is gonna be a great week. This week was a fantastic week. We learned a lot. I've shared a lot. I feel like I'm pouring myself out into these videos. I feel a sense of clarity. So I will see you same time, same place next week.